But is there anything else that you thought was like a challenge thrown to you through this process, which you thought was like unexpected, or it made you think about things differently?
I think it's the enormity of the exercise, because when we started off seeing, we thought there are specific provisions and specific laws which we can just change quickly and inclusion will happen. And I think that what has been humbling has been that it's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
It's interconnectedness of laws, it's interconnectedness of the social life of the law and the text of the law. It's interconnectedness of a lot of context and other factors that go into making these laws. So you can't just be like, you can't just tweak things and make inclusion happen. It's not like magic and it happens automatically. But it has to be like a process, and it has to factor in all these things.
Also, like another thing is that, sometimes we come with this assumption that, oh, maybe if we just draft a different law, like if you draft another law, that in itself is going to address most of your concerns. So like, for instance, I remember I started out with this position when I was drafting the family law chapter. Was that, oh, maybe if we just make a new law, like a civil partnership law, all your problems are going to be solved. But then you realize, and also that's when you start thinking about what is the political climate that you are in at that, or you find yourself in at that moment. Also, so many instances came out today in the discussion about how courts are really going ahead and slowly, incrementally changing the interpretation of things, and how you start thinking that maybe that's a better shift, or maybe that's a better approach to follow. And maybe the answer is not to draft a new law, but like queer the law in these small ways, incrementally in these small practices, because that adds up, that builds up, that argument starts becoming more stronger.
And perhaps it takes into account aspirations also, because you are then responding, the courts are then responding to what the people want.
Because you have a clear petitioner asking something before you. Right? So the Madurai bench case also, you have a trans woman who's not just saying that I want marriage laws. She's saying I want my marriage to be recognized. Then the court can But
I think we also need to be cautious of that sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Because you don't know what petitioner goes.
And what if something happens, it works for somebody, but there's a domino effect, an adverse domino effect on everybody, because ultimately we live in a common law system where judgments are precedents. So you don't know what will become of it later. So then you also need to be conscious when thinking about policy that, okay, what is the entire big picture and how is this going to
what's the basic minimum you should define, and what you should leave for interpretation. And also we should keep in mind that it's not just the Supreme Court which is adjudicating. We have a range of different high courts, and they do not follow the same position ever. So I mean, that's another thing I think we need to keep in mind as well.
Just like, I think coming from that, the point here being a combination of strategies as opposed to one strategy. So you need to obviously look to courts where you can, you need to look to research and using that research to create democratic pressure where you can, you need to engage with the government if there is an opening there when you can, you need to then rely on movements when you can. So I think it's just, I think what we realize is the combination of strategies as opposed to one strategy. And I think our place in this is that we are primarily legal researchers, and what we're good at is understanding the law and pointing out its inadequacies, and perhaps highlighting certain ways ahead and leaving that open-ended so that other stakeholders in the larger movement can then step in wherever they're best suited to step in.
And we can help wherever we can.
Exactly.